Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a grouped bar chart using Google Sheets and Datawrapper. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to just put together some sample data for this example. Just to emphasize that these are made up numbers, I'm going to fill them in front of you. What we have here are 3 different levels of education and whether or not people in these categories of education are currently employed or unemployed. And then we're going to put in some data about mental health here. So we're going to say percentage of people that were depressed and percentage that were anxious in these categories. And again, I'm just making these up, okay? So we're going to go ahead and keep that in mind and take all of this just as an example here and see what happens with that, okay? So let's see, completed college and employed. We can give this a percentage, right? And then we can keep doing the same thing over here. Okay. And then we can finish in this way. Okay. So if we have this data in the form that it is now, and we try to put this into Datawrapper, I'm just copying and pasting as an example, we won't be able to make a grouped bar chart because our categories are all in the same column. Okay, so if I proceed, all I can do here is make a bar chart, right? Just like this. We can make these percentages, right? But if I want these to be grouped by education level, what I need to do is in Google Sheets, add a new column, let's call it education level, and then I need to copy that over from the category. So for example, we can just manually do this, completed high school. We could manually type that, or we could split it by where the dash is using a formula, something like this. This is going to override the data in our next column, actually. Let me fix that because it needed to put the stuff that's to the right of the dash in the next column. So let's just go ahead and call this employment level or just employment, right? So we could do that. Personally, I like that method because it gives us whether they're unemployed or employed. And now, if I copy this into Datawrapper, let's go back to the upload data step, copy and paste, proceed. It always says leave page, stay on page for me. If that happens to you, you can just click OK, proceed. And now if we want to, we go back to the chart type and we can select grouped bars. See that? And now we have a grouping that they're trying to do here by whether people are anxious or depressed, but we could have the grouping be by education level instead. And then we could go ahead and sort the bars if we want to. The reason why it has 2 here, completed graduate school and completed graduate school again, is because one is for employed, one is for unemployed, right? So we can do a few things to fix that. One thing we could do is scroll down here and select the group bars by column option and then group by employment, right? You can see that now we have one section for unemployed and one section for employed. Another thing that we could do is go back to step 2, check and describe, and remove some information. So we could remove the category column by selecting column A and then hide column from visualization. We could also decide to not visualize the percentage anxiety and just leave percentage depression. So we could hide that column, right? And then if I go back here, now we just have the one percentage that's most relevant and it's organized in this way. We could also kind of change this so that we have employment as the labels and then we have education level as the categories, right? So there's lots of ways to go about this, but the main takeaway here is that we have our our columns grouped instead of just kind of floating all together. Okay, so I really recommend this group bars by column option, and don't forget to add a column in your data itself that includes the group that you want to do.